female once again because of her pelvis. She not only has a much larger, much wider pelvis than Mammoth Q, and she has that big diamond-shaped opening, telling us once again that she is female. However, we like Mammoth W not for her pelvis, more we like her because of her teeth. She still has the best teeth in the house, having both of her top molars over here and both of her bottom molars right down here. So these are the objects that look like the bottom of a moon boot or like the bottom of my hiking shoe. Proboscideans, like mammoths, they have some funky teeth compared to you and I, where humans have up to 36 teeth and we have 2 sets throughout the lifetime, juvenile and adult. These guys get 6 sets throughout the lifetime and they only have 4 teeth in their mouth, 2 on top, 2 on bottom, all 4 of which are molars. They also have what we call a marching molar system. So, as the new tooth grows in from the back of the jaw, those 6 sets, it's going to slowly push the old tooth out the front of the mouth, giving the teeth the appearance of a phalanx of soldiers marching, hence their name. These teeth, they get consistently larger as the animal ages, with that first set being about the size of a silver dollar coin when they are babies, and if they're lucky enough to reach that 6th set, about the size of a small shoebox. Because these teeth get so much larger as they get older, we can track their size, the thickness of the enamel, the dentine. We can see things like that, hallmarkers like that, to age these animals rather than using their bones or anything like their tusks. So Mammoth W here, she's about in her 3rd to 4th set of teeth. Any good ideas as to how old she might be? Call out some random numbers here.
50.
50? Any others?
65.
65? Any others?
35? 30.
30?
25.
25? To our 25 and 30 answers, y'all will be the closest. We think she's in her mid-20s to early 30s. She's actually still pretty young, all things considered, but that doesn't mean much until I tell you that female mammoths tend to live upwards of 60 and 70 years old. They're living in those nursery herds, so the safety in numbers and the generational knowledge keeps them safe. They're at less risk of predation. They aren't taking as many risks personally. Males, on the other hand, because they're out there living on their own and they don't have mama to say, hey, dummy, don't go walk into that sinkhole, they tend to live about to their mid-30s if they're lucky. This is part of why we know that Mammoth Q is so unusual, being in his late 40s to early 50s. We don't know if he was especially smart or cautious, or if he just got lucky, but we're glad he's here nonetheless. Now, Mammoth W, on the other hand, we don't know where she is in our timeline. She's older than 50,000, we can't carbon date her, but we also can't really use our geology to help us. These 2 black nails that you see in the wall, these are us trying to help track that stratigraphy, and that is one large layer of deposit several feet thick. We don't really see that across the dig shelter, and so that makes it harder to time where she might be. But we suspect that she's going to be closer in time to Mammoth Q than to our nursery herd, or maybe somewhere between them. Another reason that we like to point out Mammoth W as well is because she has a friend here in her dig pit, and that's going to be that fragment of a giant tortoise shell. It's going to be this tiny butterfly-shaped piece of something or other back on that dirt shelf. And it took one very brilliant nerd to identify that as giant tortoise shell rather than rock, else we probably would have thrown it out. And that was Calvin Smith, our paleontologist of the past. He saw that and said, keep it right there, and so we have. But the reason we keep him there is because he is a great bioindicator, both to ourselves as interpreters and to our scientists, that once again, no ice in Ice Age Texas. He's a reptile, right? A giant tortoise. If it's too cold year-round, he's not going to be living very long because he would be in a year-long hibernation, or what we call brumation. On top of that, he is an herbivore, so his favorite food's not going to be growing if it's too cold. So he's just a good sign that it was warm enough here to support reptile life. Any questions about Mammoth W, the tortoise? Are these ribs right here? Yes, sir. They are going to be more ribs from Mammoth W. Could have been scavenging. It also could have been just natural processes. They might have gotten moved as something else came along and kicked them around. Any others?